It is Thursday, February 3rd in the NBA, and I'm back with my 4 best picks of the day. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. So, quick recap of yesterday, just losing a little bit of juice on the day, a 3-3 day. Our best bet of the day overall, Ja Morant, he attempted more than enough shots, 27 shots, only making 9 of them. Mitchell Robinson played exceptionally well, almost flirted with a triple-double with blocks. Anthony Simons missed 2 points and assists short. Our OKC Thunder under, they crushed their over, beating the Mavs outright. But Luka, Scary Terry, and one of our added plays, Kevin Porter Jr., get the job done. Just losing a little bit of juice. We're going to get back after it. We got 6 games on the slate, much more than we normally have on a Thursday in the NBA. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. I got to say thank you guys. You guys hit 22,000 subscribers yesterday on February 2nd. A whole bunch of twos. Two. We appreciate it. I gave you guys that mission and you guys crushed it. So we're thankful for that. We appreciate all the new people joining the community. And we'll have a subscriber parlay giveaway tomorrow on Friday when we have a little bit more games, a little bit more to choose from than we do today. That being so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. I'm not sure if we'll do like the $22,000 subscriber, parlay exactly, but we'll do something for you guys. Now, my final last 2 notes. Number 1, thank you guys all to the people that came out to the live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. We appreciate you guys, sponsored by Dimers. Number 2, our podcast is live. It's a pretty fun one, and you should definitely go check it out. If you want to download the podcast, I'll put the link down below, and you can check it out for sure. I'll also put the link to the actual video where we posted it on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get into it. And as always, if you guys want any sportsbook sign-up bonuses, definitely use the link down below as well. We really would appreciate it. Dimers.com/COS. So without further ado, let's get into my best bet of the day. It's going to be a popular one today. Trent Jr. over 18.5 points, -115 on Caesars. I like this line all the way up to 20.5 points. Now, Gary, let's be honest, he's been a man for the gambling community over the past couple games, and he's been on an absolute mission, especially profitable for the people over the past 2 games. Now, heck, even the past 5 games. This guy has scored 30-plus points in 5 straight games. That's not a typo. 30-plus points in 5 straight. They really haven't moved his lineup a whole lot, and I don't really know why, but he's tied the franchise record for 30-plus point games in a row, held by one of his opponents, DeMar DeRozan. More on him in a little bit. Now, he's been knocking down threes at a ridiculous rate, 5-plus threes in all 3 of those games, attempting 10-plus threes in every single one of them, and he's attempted 20-plus field goal attempts in all 5 games. Now, the Raptors and Bulls just played each other a couple nights ago, January 26th. Trent Jr., a calm, easy 32 points in that one. Now, I do want to note Fred VanVleet was inactive in that game, and he'll take some shots, but let's be honest, this Bulls defense is plenty. They're handing out points like it's candy. They don't play any defense, especially with Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball not out there. They really aren't playing a whole lot of defense, and Trent Jr. should see plenty of opportunities today. If you look at his game log, the sweet spot really is just 15 field goal attempts. You see, if you go, scroll past into his game log, over the past 2 months, you'll see this guy doesn't hit his over sometimes, but it's because he's not getting a lot of field goal attempts. But if he gets that 15 or more, he's going to hit this over more often than not. Now, like I said, he's attempted 20-plus field goal attempts in each of the last 5 games. But in 23 games this season with 15 or more field goal attempts, he's hit the over in 17 of those games. Now, if your line is 19.5, don't worry. He's only landed on the hook with 19 points exactly just once. So he's hitting the over at a ridiculous rate. Gary's a true volume shooter, and he should see a ton of opportunities today. Siakam, VanVleet, and company will all get him the ball. And look, they're trying to keep his hot streak alive. Feed a guy while he's hot, and he's been knocking down shots. So we're riding with Trent Jr. over 18.5 points. And if you want to ladder him up to 25 points, even 30 points, see if he can do it again for a 6th straight game, feel free to go for it. That's what a lot of people have been doing so far. He's been making a ton of people money. So riding, jumping on the trend, Trent Jr. over 18.5 points. Like I said, like it up to 20.5. Now, moving on to my next one. Don't like doing this too often, but we're staying in the same game. DeMar DeRozan over 36.5 PRAs, -125 on DraftKings. Now, DeRozan returning to Toronto. Sign me up. And while the Raptors don't necessarily have a ton of guys, I don't even know if they have any fans in their arena at the moment, but still, DeRozan's going to put on a show for the people watching on cable, because it's probably one of the most televised, watched games for the Toronto Raptors this season, because you look at DeRozan, he's a Toronto legend. The people love him there. Now, DeRozan has played the Raptors 8 times since being traded back in 2018. Set this over in 5 of them. Now, in terms of playing in Toronto, he set the over in 2 of 4 games. But you look at the 3 of the 8 games that he missed, he shot 11, 9, and 12 attempts. That's however many shot attempts. He was like Chris Middleton-esque in those games. I say Chris Middleton because we bet his over 2 nights ago, and he gave us 12 shot attempts. I don't want to bet a lot of money on this, but I can guarantee you he's going to shoot more than 12 shots tonight. He shot over 18 times in 8 of his last 9 games. Obviously, they don't have a lot of offensive options. They got Vucevic, they got Levine, but it's going to be DeMar DeRozan that's going to be attempting a lot of shots. The Bulls have played the Raptors twice this season. In those games, he's hit the over in both of them. In the game in Toronto, he had 37 PRAs, shooting just 7 for 19 from the field. That was the game with Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso active. Two guys that can't handle the rock. They don't have both those guys today. Look, DeRozan's been doing pretty well. He's hit this over in 7 straight games in terms of just the over 36.5 PRAs. He's been cooking, and he's been doing pretty good filling up the stat sheet as well, which is why we're taking PRAs. Now, over his last 7 games, he's averaged 6.1 assists per game on 12.1 assist chances and 5.7 rebounds per game on 8.4 rebound chances. Now, I think this rebounds and assist line was like 11.5. I think that's a pretty good bet as well, and I think it was plus value too, but I think he does it all. Like I said, both of these teams they have a lot of guys injured. I mean, we look at the Bulls especially more. They got a lot of guys injured, so you're going to see DeRozan play even more, and then the Raptors just run their guys into the ground. Nick Nurse says he's the whole Tom Thibodeau now. He just says, hey, you're playing 40 plus minutes. So, love DeMar DeRozan today. I think he fills up the stat sheet. We're taking those over 36.5 PRAs. If you wanted my exact bet in terms of which one to take, probably lean towards his points because I think he scores a little bit more today, but I still do think it's one of my best plays of the day. Now, moving on to a different game, going to the Suns versus Hawks, one of another, and that's a game, this is the next game on, I believe this is on TNT if I'm not mistaken. We're going with the guys, might be a little bit sketchy. Macau Bridges over 17.5 points plus rebounds, minus 115 on Caesars. Now, if I could give you a sketchy line, this is probably as sketchy as I probably can give you. Now, I'm taking his points plus rebounds because he's been rebounding the ball pretty well, but if you want just a single bet, take his points at 13.5. Now, look, it says the third play in the video because some of the people might have clicked off by now. Who knows? I don't know why they're watching till the end, but still, Macau Bridges is a sketchy one. And here's why. Because this is not a guy that normally I want to bet on. No, not normally one I want to put my reputation on, but I don't know what happened to him over the last 3 games, but he's been on an absolute mission. He's hit this over in points plus rebounds with just points alone. He's at 18, 26, and then 27 points his last 3 games, chipping in 5, 8, and 8 rebounds as well. Now, for a total of 23, 34, and 35 points versus rebounds. We only need 18 today. This guy's been, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if something happened in a personal life, but he's been on an absolute mission. I'm going to continue going with him because the Suns, like we've talked about, obviously they got Jay Crowder and DeAndre Ayton back. Both those guys questionable today. Love if either of them didn't play, but if they do, that's fine. But still, the guys that normally spell Mr. Macau Bridges' minutes are guys like Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne, those kind of guys. Both those guys are inactive. Now, Cam Johnson will play his minutes. Jay Crowder will play his minutes, but Macau Bridges has seen 40-plus minutes in 4 straight games, and he should continue to play a lot with CP3 and Devin Booker. And now, while I don't necessarily think, I know Crowder and Ayton will take a little bit of that offensive production away, still, I think you're going to see Bridges in that game a ton. And if you've been following a trend all season long, it has been this. The Hawks have been absolutely brutal to opposing shooting guards. I don't know how to tell you this. They give up tons of threes, tons of points to opposing shooting guards. And while Devin Booker technically is listed on the depth chart as their starting shooting guard, they're not going to guard him like that is. They're going to guard Macau Bridges like he's that shooting guard person against this Hawks team. And those shooting guards have been crushing their overs. Would not be surprised to see Macau Bridges hit a couple 3-pointers today, which is plus value. And look, Kevin Huerter, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Trae Young, if he's active today, hopefully Trae Young does play. He's questionable, game time decision. But look, if those 3 guys are guarding him, they're not playing much defense. And so Chris Paul, we already know he's one of the best floor generals in the league in NBA history. He'd rather see his teammates, not his opponents. He'd rather see his teammates score personally. Last game only attempted 12 shots. I think we'll see Macau Bridges do pretty well. For what it's worth, Macau Bridges has hit this over in 2 straight in Atlanta, and I think he'll get it done today. Now, it is a sketchy one, so I put it towards the end of the video, but I think Macau Bridges has a great chance. We're taking his over 17.5 points plus rebounds. Take his over in points if you only have that one. Now, my last play of the day, and man, I promise I don't like doing this, and I already have 2 plays in this game, but Fred VanVleet over 6.5 assists, minus 125 on DraftKings and PointsBet. Arguably, this will be my best bet of the day, but it's going to become a little bit more juice throughout the day, and I don't really want to give you guys a best bet of the day at minus 125. Heck, some books even have it at minus 140, minus 145 as well. Sure, it gets even more juice as the day goes on, but just so you know, this is one of my most confident plays of the day. Arguably one of the most confident slates I've been in. But like I said, we've got 3 plays in one game, which I don't like doing, but I think all of them have great edge and great value. We're just playing for no blowout. Now we look at Mr. VanVleet. We're taking on the Raptors and Bulls again. And look, the spread's just 3 points and the over-under 224 points. Both of these 2 teams, in my opinion, very evenly matched, and the sportsbooks are showing that. Now, VanVleet has hit this over in 7 of his last 9 games. His 2 misses came against the same team, the Miami Heat, when he finished with 6 assists their last game and 4 assists. You look at the Miami Heat, one of the best teams in the league at defending opposing assists. That's not what he's getting today in the Bulls. And if I could just dream up a scenario, if we see a lot of VanVleet passes to Gary Trent Jr., boom, knock down the shot, kill two birds with one stone if we're lucky. Now, VanVleet isn't just clearing this line by like 7 assists, just barely. This guy's crushing his line. 8+ assists in 5 of his last 6 games. 11+ assists in 3 of those 5 games that he went over. And VanVleet, like we talked about earlier, he did miss that game against the Bulls earlier this season, but just a week ago. But they played earlier this season, first week of the season. VanVleet, I think he hit this over. Yeah, 17 assists versus the Bulls in the first week of the season. And if you look at the game last week, we saw Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam both hit this over with 7 assists each. Look, VanVleet's going to be the one managing this offense, getting his guys open. And over the last 15 games, the Bulls, here I'll give you a list of teams that have allowed more assists per game than the Bulls over the last 15 games. Yeah, no, there's not a single team. They've allowed the most assists per game over the last 15 games. And for comparison's sake, the Heat have allowed the 6th fewest assists per game. Look, they've allowed the 6th most points per game overall. Should be a ton of assists going around. And look, over that same time span, they've allowed the 3rd most assists per game to opposing point guards. So just recently, we've seen SGA have 10 assists, Harden have 16, Luka have 14, Darius Garland have 12, DeJounte Murray have 12. The list goes on and on. All we need is 7 from VanVleet today. I think he can get it done. Over his last 9 games, VanVleet has average 15.9 assist chances per game, 8.7 assists per game total. Love VanVleet's chances today. That's why he would be the best bet of the day, but it's going to become a little bit more juice. -125. I'm all in. So I appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you want to subscribe, if you want to click that like button too, we appreciate it. Podcast will be on the screen, but if you want to download it, be a real OG. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, subscriber parlay coming. We don't know exactly what we'll do, but we'll get you something and give some sort of giveaway tomorrow. So we appreciate it. 23,000 subscribers on the way. And this is Austin. I'll catch you guys in the next one. If the Raptors and Bulls is a blowout, well, we'll see what we do there. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been Austin. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.